I think we're up and running. Looks like we are. Sounds like we are. Good. I'm just going to wait for maybe 30 seconds, see who joins us. If you're joining, just say hello. Let me know that you're here. I can see people coming in, but I can't see who's here or whether they can hear me. So I'm just going to give it another minute or two. Oh, no, not a minute. Less than that. I will start talking in a minute, I promise. Oh, let's get going. Good evening. Welcome to DDUDE, Druids Down Under Discuss Everything. My name is Mandy Gibson. I am an ovate in the order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, and I am also the editor of a magazine called SerpentStar, which is the Southern Hemisphere magazine for the order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, is the sort of lofty thing that goes underneath the banner at the beginning of at the top of the front page. I want to start this broadcast by paying respect and honour to the families of the Yugambeh region of southeast Queensland, particularly the Wangara clan on whose land I live and work, their elders past, present and emerging. I also want to pay tribute to a ridiculous amount of spirit, the country, the animals, the people who we've lost or have been suffering in the fire regions. Who knows what to say? How much have we said about this already? There's just so much to say and so much that can't be said. Hi, Sandra. It's an incredible thing that we're living through. And the species, the towns, the ecosystems that have been lost is absolutely staggering. We mourn in Macadamia Grove, which is my home grove in Queensland. We felt particularly keenly the loss of the black cockatoo species, subspecies on Kangaroo Island, because the black cockatoo is one of the totems of our grove in Queensland. So we felt that quite keenly as well. And the thing that I'm sort of here to talk to you about tonight is the idea of well, not the idea, but my thoughts around the history and community through Druid eyes, and how we record these things, how we record for posterity the times that we live in. And Sandra, who is here, Sandra talked last week about the history of Druids as a community in Australia, and the History of Druidry in Australia book, which is coming out soon, and with the Kickstarter. This includes the legacy of how we mark the passage of time and how we participate in important events, and how those events affect us as well. And our chosen chief, OBOD's chosen chief, Philip Cargom, who is about to retire, but his description of the teachings of Druidry, and with apologies to Philip for how badly I'm probably in translation about to butcher what he said, but basically he described the teachings of Druidry as like being a triad made up of ancient wisdom, the wisdom of our founders, and the emerging wisdom of modern Druids. And sounds very similar to the acknowledgement to the elders of the traditional custodians of the land in Australia, the elders past, present and emerging. And so one of the points that he's trying to make when he talks about that is that every time we raise our voices, whether we talk, whether we mobilize, whether we create a bardic work, every time we speak to someone about something that's important to us, we are contributing to our collective wisdom as Druids. And I'm reminded of a musical that I particularly love, and that some of you may know, a musical called Hamilton, which is an American musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also wrote, if you're familiar with Disney movies, he wrote the music for Moana, amongst all the other amazing things he does. And what it is it's a historical story told in the context of modern music, so modern rap, hip hop music, and the outcome of what he achieved, apart from being, you know, a fantastic piece of art, is that it in the way it reached out to the sort of younger generations and modern sort of wisdom, it galvanized a renewed interest in history, and in its production galvanized diversity. So diversity in as much as the cast were chosen for their talent rather than whether they fit a physical mold of what that character should look like. They were chosen purely based on their talent, and they were chosen based on representing a diverse modern United States. And its legacy contributed to education, and it not only financially but also in terms of encouraging young students to express themselves and to express their feelings about the world and about history and about things that happen. And there is it can be summed up in, there's a song in the musical called History Has Its Eyes on You, and the line from that song now appears on placards in protest rallies. It appeared on a placard in a rally against our Prime Minister last Friday, as recently as last Friday. I spotted it in the crowd and went, there's legacy for you, and there's raising your voice. Which brings us to what I was actually asked to talk about tonight, which is SerpentStar. And SerpentStar, I have written a blurb about, I've talked about it a little bit before, and I have written a blurb about it for the History of Druidry in Australia book as well. Plug, plug, plug. Like all Druid magazines, it's one way that we as a community mark the passage of time. After, you know, a period of time, it becomes a body of work. So SerpentStar's in its 23rd year this year. Back issues of the magazine are available online at serpentstar.druidryaustralia.org. And I realised I was actually thinking about the archive project that Elkie White and Cherry Carroll and I undertook back in 2017. When we had the 20th year of SerpentStar, there was a special edition of the magazine. We did a 5th edition that year. It normally only comes out 4 times a year. And we also did a very sort of extensive archiving project whereby we gathered together all the hard copies that we could get our hands on, and we scanned them and put them together and uploaded them to go with Hey Ivan, and they are all put together and uploaded to this website. So at that time we did about, I worked out we did about 80 something of those, and it occurred to me when I was preparing for this talk that we must be close to 100 now. So I'm probably going to have to do the math and figure out which one is going to be the 100th, so that we can make a fuss about it being the 100th. But and to sort of give you a little bit of idea of sort of how it comes together, although the purpose of SerpentStar is sort of to be a magazine, because it's sanctioned by head office, by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids in the UK. It is specifically contributed to by members of the order. So that's one thing, is that I only take submissions from people who are members of the order, not to be exclusive, because obviously it is available online to anybody who wants to read it, but simply because by having it just coming from members of the order, it gives it a point, because there's no point sort of calling it an OBOD magazine for this region if it's not specific to OBOD. And because there are lots of other publications out there, fabulous publications that take submissions from people from all over the spiritual spectrum. So that's one of the things that's important about SerpentStar, is that it is content by members of OBOD. But of course, anybody can read it, and it's available for free. It's available online. There's no subscription requirements. All you have to do is provide an email address, or even just sign up for join the Facebook page, follow the Facebook page, and I post there when it comes out, and you can just go straight to the website and download it. Make it really, really easy to get your hands on it. And now that we have the video channel, we have a YouTube channel. Well, actually, I always had a YouTube channel, but it only occurred to me sort of in the last, I don't know, Julie, when Julie sees this, Julie Brett, when you see this, Julie, back me up on the time. It was only not even a year ago that I thought to myself, hang on a minute, we actually have a YouTube channel because we have a Gmail email address. Let's share the Dude Talks there. So that's how that ended up starting up happening. And I do hope eventually that we can use that video channel, that YouTube channel, to share videos from Bardic submissions. So I will keep plugging that. If anybody has a Bardic submission that they would like to either provide to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, or that we can link to the YouTube channel, and so we could, because we can link to other channels via our YouTube channel. So that is available. Get in touch with me via the SerpentStar Facebook page, or PM me here if you would like to talk to me about that. Hi, Jen. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about with regards to SerpentStar is that when I inherited it, I inherited a magazine that had the byline Southern Hemisphere. And the Southern Hemisphere model, we list the seed groups in Brazil, and not in Brazil, we don't have the Brazil one in there. We do have the Argentina one in there. We have the South African one in there. I contact them every quarter, asking them if they would like to be part of it, and I would love to hear from them. So if you know anyone in those seed groups in South America or South Africa, please let them know. It's not lip service when I say I would love to hear from them. I really, really would. Being part of a spirituality that is Northern Hemisphere in terms of its roots means that for all of us in the Southern Hemisphere, whether we're in Australia, New Zealand, South America, South Africa, anywhere in Africa below the equator, it's a different focus. It's a different. It comes with its own unique challenges and its own unique experiences, and it would be lovely to share some of what's going on in other parts of the hemisphere. So yeah, please, if you're watching, if you know somebody who is in one of those groups, please do get in touch. I would love to hear from you. So I've got notes over here. I'm sort of looking at them. I'm trying not to read from it. I'm just looking at it. So, but at the moment, because of the nature of the contributions, it is very sort of Australia, New Zealand centric at the moment, and it's but it's something that is very flexible. It's a very flexible way that it is produced. The production of it is the flexibility, is the key to its flexibility. It's a obviously, as I said before, it's a free magazine. Subscription is easy. All you do is either put your email address in the website or join the Facebook page. And it's available for free download. It's not a locked download or anything like that. So it's easy to get. And by having a single volunteer editor model, that it's sort of a very compact sort of streamlined way that I do it. I'm able to produce it for no postage costs, minimal restriction on time frames, no restriction on size. So it can be one week. It can be 1 week. What am I saying? Weekly. Ooh. 1 quarter it might be 10 pages. 1 quarter it might be 40 pages. I think we've gotten up to near 50 pages sometimes. It just is dependent on how much people want to talk that particular quarter. And there are guidelines. I mean, there are guidelines on content size, but the purpose of that is to fit. It is a magazine style as opposed to more of an academic journal. So to fit the magazine style format, the shorter articles are better. But that said, if you want to submit a longer article, then by all means do. Just let me know when you, at the point at which I can break it up. So serialization, it means that some of it will appear in this edition, some of it will appear in the next edition, and so on. Sometimes we've had articles go over 3 or 4, which ends up being a year's worth of reading from a single contributor. And it's beneficial because it encourages someone who might be reading for the first time to come back and read more. Regular contributors, I encourage regular contributors. I have several who provide me with poetry and artwork and serialized pieces that I can serialize. So it's lovely to have those longer articles. They just get broken up. So don't feel like you can't send me a longer article. Just we'll work together to figure out how we're going to format it. So this coming SerpentStar, how long have I got? Oh gosh, I'm nearly at 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, how'd that happen? This coming SerpentStar is due out at Lunarsar, so it's due out on the 1st of February. And it's going to be a marker of the time, as it always is. And Lunarsar, we gather to celebrate the sun. We gather to celebrate the sun god. And it might be a little bit hard to kind of digest at the moment because in some ways it might feel like it hasn't exactly been the kindest of summers, but I'm looking for contributions that express how we feel right now. So and express for the other readers how we feel at this time. So expressions of sadness, but also hope, inspiration, calls to action, information on how we can help long term, because this is a magazine that's going to sit there for a long time. So how can we help long term? What can you tell us about what your region needs? Especially from affected areas, if you're able to send us some things, send me something that I can put in that will serve as a history. Prayers for the future. I received a wonderful prayer today that's going to go into SerpentStar. If you've posted anything already in Druids Down Under or in any other forum, you don't need to submit via email for this edition. You can just private message me your permission to use the piece. along with where I would find it posted. So I do like to have photographs and illustrations to go with written pieces. If you've got anything to send me, then please do. But yeah, I'd really like very much to have the Lunacy edition for this year be something that really very much expresses what we've been going through as a country, what Australia's been going through as a country, but also how it has been, how you're seeing it from other parts of the hemisphere. So, our brothers and sisters in New Zealand, you know, how have you been seeing things? Sorry about the smoke. Really sorry about the smoke. So I think I'm gonna have to stop because I'm at 20 minutes now. But if anybody's got any comments, feel free to put some comments in, and eventually this video will end up on the YouTube channel as well. And I will, I'll go and have some dinner, and I'll come and read your comments. And that's really all I've got for you tonight. So thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful night, and blessings everyone. So good night. Bye.